Hello and welcome to the Gifts of Wisdom Summit, which features conversations from the authors of the newly published book, Gifts of Wisdom, Practices for Healing and Empowerment by David D. McLeod. This book was released last month, and it's already a #1 bestseller on Amazon, not only in the US, but also internationally. So be sure to grab your copy, and we have provided the link for you within the show notes and also in this video. The book is an incredible collection that showcases 22 authors who each of us shares our own inspiring stories and also offer powerful practices to empower and uplift the reader. Now, today in this conversation, we are featuring two of our authors. We have Sue and Jennifer. And the title of this conversation is Baby Boomers, Rewrite the Script of Aging. I can't wait for that because I'm one of those baby boomers. So the main takeaway that we are offering is that Jennifer has created a program that she's been using in her own life for the past 2 years, and it's called Living a Well-Integrated Life. It has become the backbone of her platform, Graceing Agefully. I absolutely love that. The premise is that our lives are built around 5 key categories, namely spiritual, physical, mental, emotional, financial, and relationships. Now, I can't wait to hear more about this from these wonderful authors.
So thank you. I'm Janette Stuart, one of the authors in the Gift of Wisdom's book. And it's my pleasure to introduce our featured authors today, Jennifer Sproul and Susan Ernst. Jennifer wrote Chapter 8, The Unexpected Gift of Fertility. Know your backstory, heal your life. I think that's supposed to be infertility, right, Jennifer? And Sue wrote Chapter 11, Throw Some Love at It, Embracing Vulnerability on the Public Stage. So Jennifer's bio is she's a realtor in the Washington, D.C. metro area and the founder of Graceing Agefully. Graceing Agefully is a platform she launched in 2022 whose mission is to change the culture of aging. She believes our generation will be the first to experience an average lifespan of 100 years. That said, we have many years to create the life of our dreams, to thrive and prosper in peace in the second half of life. Susan Ernst is a passionate best-selling children's book author and expert commercial real estate appraiser. She started her appraisal business in 1990 and now focuses on reviewing appraisals for her commercial lending clients. So thank you, ladies, for being here.
My pleasure.
So let's start with you, Jennifer. Do you mind sharing what was the greatest gift or a surprise that you experienced during the Gift of Wisdom writing process?
So I love this question because my whole chapter was a surprise. And when I set out to be part of the book, I said, this is my jam. I'm all about aging. And I think the Gifts of Wisdom is the perfect book for me to be in. And I didn't really know what I was going to write about, but I think about this all the time. So I was feeling like I would know what I would write about. In fact, when it came through me to write about infertility, which I had experienced 30 years ago, the story came through, I wrote it, and it was completely transformative. It just broke me open. And things came out that I had never faced before. And things came out that made me realize how everything that happened just changed my life for the better and taught me a lesson. Even though the challenge seems like something so negative and so dark, the actual experience 30 years later is my entire life would have been different had it not happened. So that was really the surprise of it. And that became the practice that I shared at the end, because writing that story healed my life. And that's my subtitle.
Wow, I can't wait to hear more about that. But next, I want to ask Sue, what about you? What was a big surprise or a gift that you received through the process of writing your chapter for the gifts of wisdom?
Thank you so much just for this opportunity to talk about it. The book is, and the collaboration process is chock full of gifts and surprises. One that was particularly important to me, surprising to me, and a true gift was the fact that I came into the process all set to write about my fear of public speaking, sharing all my vulnerabilities and all of that, thinking I was the only person on the planet that had this problem. And getting to know 22 some odd authors and having a chance now to have read the book, I see that each one of us shared our own vulnerabilities with grace and love, and then provided a practice for healing and empowerment. So my gift was to learn that my flaw, my fear of speaking in front of a group was not a flaw. It just proved I was human. That's surprise number one for me, believe it or not, at this age and time in my life. But it came at the exact right moment. And I had 22 other, in addition to, you'll hear more about the advice that Jennifer shared with me that leads to why we've joined together in this process. Got at least 22 other ways that I can fight this fear of public speaking.
Wonderful. So thanks, Sue. And let me ask you, Sue, about what are you most excited to share with the audience today?
Oh gosh, two things I think. One is I think I came into this project, many of us did, with the idea of telling stories now that we've lived a full life, telling stories that we might share with a younger population, perhaps sharing some wisdom that might help them and speed up their process of empowerment as they grew up. In fact, I've learned that this book was meant for everyone. It does not matter what your age is. And it's never too late to glean some advice that will change your future. And given what Jennifer has to share with us, apparently I have decades ahead of me. So never too late. Looking forward to the next 10 or 15 decades. The other piece that I want to share that was most exciting for me was in the process of learning to love myself, which is the crux of what Jennifer had shared with me, and we'll get to that. I learned how important it was to embrace myself. All vulnerabilities combined in one, just give them all a big hug. And doing so in these weeks, I'm learning to respect my decisions more. This is huge for me. But once you truly love yourself and can forgive yourself of various things, you can then hang on to your decisions as being worthwhile. So that's what I want to share.
That's awesome. Thanks, Sue. And Jennifer, what about you? What are you excited to share with the listeners today?
So many things, but I think I'm going to riff off of Sue a little bit, because I think one of the most important lessons that I learned and that I've been learning in the practice of living a well-integrated life is that we are neither teacher nor student in every relationship. We're both. And how important it is. Sue is always very grateful to me, and I'm honored and a little bit embarrassed by her gratitude sometimes, because I gain as much from Sue as she from me. And I think that's the way relationships are and the way relationships can be. So that's really what I want to share today.
Wonderful.
Oh, that's so beautiful how the two of you, are collaborating in so many ways. And actually, you are the only two authors from the Gifts of Wisdom that wanted to show up together in the summit. Do you mind sharing a little bit about why you feel this partnership was something you wanted to share with our audience?
I'd be happy to take that one.
Yeah, good.
Go ahead. All right. Have you ever heard, the saying that God places certain people in your life right at a certain moment for a certain reason, and it's all meant to be? That was one of the times for me. It was just 2 years ago in my late 70s that I decided to relocate from California to the East Coast to be closer to my family. I can't even begin to tell you the list of impacts that had and the changes that were necessary and adjustments that I had to make. It was pretty darn colossal. Number one, that's what I learned. It's really colossal when you do that. But in doing so, I met Jennifer initially at a networking group meeting in an attempt to grow my business as a commercial appraiser. I had to introduce myself to the lending community out here on the East Coast. Thought it would be good to get into a networking group. I did, and Jennifer became my mentor during that process. And that's where a wonderful friendship and relationship began. Interestingly enough, Jennifer is also a residential real estate broker. She has now helped me sell my house and find my new home in Washington, D.C. So that relationship has grown and grown. But during this process, we also entered into the book project. And I had shared my fear of public speaking with Jennifer. And in fact, we were at a function where she witnessed me doing that. And it was speaking in front of a group. And it was there that I was asking her, why do I get so upset and nervous about this? And that's when she just very casually said, throw some love at it. And that was the beginning of a whole new world for me. So it's perfect that we came in together. I'll let Jennifer explain the other half of that.
Yeah. So Jennifer, tell us about that. How did that happen? And what does that mean? Throw some love on it.
So I was going to say the reason we wanted to do this together, because as you have already started to gather, our relationship has evolved and expanded over a couple of years now. And so I have been working on this program behind the scenes on myself for the last couple of years. And Sue appeared as a sort of the perfect candidate to test the program out on. And so we started doing that together. So it just made sense that for this summit, as a continuation of the work in the book, that we present together where we both are and how our two lives have been intertwined. And in particular, for me, the program has helped Sue. So I think it's an unusual situation within the context of the book, but it certainly is ripe for a lot of thought and expansion for other parts of the books and other chapters.
Yeah, I love the synergy that you guys are creating, with your two chapters, but of course it fits so perfectly inside of the entire book. So I've got a question back to you, Sue. What is one of the most significant changes that you have experienced in your own life since overcoming this fear of public speaking, since just facing that head on and throwing some love at it?
The significant change is I like myself better. And as I have practiced that, and Jennifer has a poster in the background of on her screen right now, she takes you through at least 5 different characteristics: your spirituality, your emotional, mental. I cannot read that, Jennifer, so throw it out there. But your emotional, mental characteristic, your condition, your financial condition. What else did I miss? There's a couple more.
So your physical and your relationships are the other two
relationships
categories.
Well, once I started throwing love at myself, it kind of goes without saying that I then would apply that love and that confidence in myself in absolutely everything I've been doing and in every component of my life. And so I've seen really rather quickly a turnaround in how I have felt about myself, how I've dealt with matters, and have seen just about everything improve. if I had to rate where I was when I came into this work with Jennifer and rank each of those characteristics, I would have put myself maybe at a 5 or a 6. And now I'm feeling like a solid 9 or a 10.
Wow.
Wow, that's awesome. So that's definitely throwing some love at it. You threw more love at yourself and every aspect of your life. So that is amazing. Jennifer, can you tell us a little bit about the experience with Sue and how that it continues to inform your work in gracing agefully and living a well-integrated life?
Absolutely. As I said before, Sue is like the perfect candidate to share this program. It's really a practice. And she was the perfect candidate to share it with because she was right at that point in her life where she was what I find a lot of my peers are confused. You know, she's still very vital. She has all of her faculties, and yet we tend to plan as if they're all going away and we're on the road to our demise. And that's exactly the opposite of the platform Gracing Agefully, which is to understand that I even have a slogan that is living to 100 and beyond is an unprecedented opportunity for expansion. And so what I learned from the program myself was that I had gone from being a career person who I would say 70 to 80% of my energy was focused on career and finance, because of course I didn't have children, so family wasn't even really a big part of that. And when I hit 60 and realized I had this epiphany that I could live to 120, I changed my attitude to say, I'm always only halfway. That way it takes the end of the line out of sight and I'm just looking at today. So I developed the 5 categories and said, herein I want to give equal attention to each category every day. And I want to feel at least an 8 out of 10 in each category every day. I want to understand what that means and what I can do if it's falling below that 8, what I can do to bring it up. And so for me, it was very organic and natural. When I started working with Sue, I started to realize that every person is going to connect with a different piece. They're going to have a different category that needs help and needs work. And they're the only ones that can really determine what that is. So she really has shown me that I can't just take this program and say, hey, this is the way I do it. It works great. We're just giving equal attention to 5 categories. It really requires getting the person to do a lot of awareness research on themselves to figure out what are the areas that I have been not paying attention to, that I need to pay attention and grow and improve on, and improve in a way toward inner peace. Just, I want each of the categories to not even be on your mind every day. That to me is the top score, when it has no stress. It gives me no stress. So she has really helped me hone how I might share this most effectively with other people.
Beautiful.
What a gift you guys have given to each other. And, you know, with that, I want to make sure that we thank the audience who has taken the time to watch these videos and listen to these wonderful nuggets of wisdom that are being shared here. So thanking the 2 of you and thanking the audience, but also Jennifer, you guys have some gifts that you wanted to offer. Do you mind sharing a little bit about the nature of your gift, since it's very tied to what we just talked about?
Absolutely, no problem. You can see behind me, it's probably hard to read, but this is a symbol for the well-integrated life. And the core of this program is spirit. And I think, like you, Laina, I'm a student of the Course in Miracles. That's just the lens through which I see the spiritual side of my life. And that means I know I'm one with everything and everyone. And it means that love is first. Nothing else really exists. So it's really essential to my mental and emotional health, which then influences the 3 other categories: the physical, the relationships, and the financial. And So there's a process that I go through, and I put Sue through it, which is to do an assessment of each of those categories for yourself today, and give yourself a score and figure out what it is that gave you a higher number or a lower number. And then what does a 10 feel like? Because we're scoring on a 0 to 10 or a 1 to 10 scale. And so what I have to offer is the worksheet that they can come to my website. There will be a link, and it will give them a worksheet which they can write directly on, see what the program consists of, and go through the assessment. So it's a great way to start just looking at your own life that way.
Oh, it sounds wonderful. I can't wait to take the assessment. And by the way, for the audience, we have a link to that in the show notes as well as here on the video. And what about you, Sue? You've got a gift for our audience.
Well, I cannot speak highly enough about how effective Jennifer's program has been for me. She has taken me through this program over, Jen, I'm going to say it's been 2 months, 2 to 3 months now.
Yeah.
The result of working through the program has been extraordinary for me. It has literally changed a lot of different areas of my life in a very, very positive way. So I think perhaps one gift I would like to offer, and with it would come a signed copy of the book, would be if anyone is considering an assessment by Jennifer, to feel free to give me a call, and I will talk candidly with them about the program and answer any questions that they may have.
Great. So we will have a link for people to be able to do that. And that, again, will be here in the show notes and in the video.
Thank you.
Wonderful. And ladies, thank you so much for being here. I can't imagine a better way to have your conversation than together. So thank you so much, Jennifer, Sproul, and Susan Ernst for joining us today. And in closing, do you have another gem of wisdom thought that you'd like to share with our audience before we depart?
You want me to start?
Sure.
I'll start. So as I said before, live every day as if you're only halfway. Just don't focus on the end, focus on today, and don't worry about how many years are ahead of you. Frankly, I always say I could die today. That's what I want to be, is ready to die every day. And I think that is the best wisdom I can pass on to anyone of any age.
Well, thank you. And Sue, do you have a little gem or nugget you'd like to leave with us?
I have a little nugget that my mentor shared with me that I will share with you. And that is, when you're thinking or when you're speaking or when you're writing, do it from a place of love.
Beautiful.
That's it.
Well, thank you. And again, to get Jennifer and Sue's free gifts, please see the show notes below and the link here in the video. So thank you all for your time and these wonderful gifts of wisdom you're sharing.
Thank you for having us and I'm sorry, Laina, but I just wanted to say thank you for letting us do this little out of the box way. So we really appreciate it. Great.
Thank you.
Great.
We're so excited that you did it this way. And I'm going to show you guys the beautiful book that we've collaborated in, Gifts of Wisdom. And there's a link below for you to purchase it right through our Amazon link. Thank you all so much for being here.